Armageddon's on the way.
And
this is the United States of America, for God's sake.
So, yeah, I've noticed an uptick of shootings. There was a Sacramento shooting recently, and you can kind of tell they're starting to get that. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I'm sorry. Just because if there's any jinglers out there, I think this is one we're going to need to have on hand.
Yeah.
So a gun control jingle would be sick, something cool. What popped into my mind was, what was it? Paper Planes. You remember that that Sri Lankan rapper woman who was very popular in, I don't know, 8 years ago?
No.
They're like, all I want to do is pow, 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 pow. Ching, take your money, something like that. But get Biden in there talking about controlling guns and stuff.
Yeah,
MIA, Mia, MIA. Yeah, MIA. There you go, jinglers. Have fun.
Okay, there you go. Well, what about this? Close enough. Okay, so yes, there was a lot of gun control, or not gun control. Well, there was the Biden thing. There's a lot there. But yesterday, there was something that broke out in Brooklyn. And I have ESPN here reporting on it.
Story this morning, at least 5 people were shot and several others injured in a Brooklyn subway just a little more than 2 miles from the Barclays Center, where the Nets are scheduled to host the Cavs at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. A suspect wearing a construction vest and a gas mask fled, and there was some sort of explosion. The police have found no active devices.
Some sort of explosion? And I haven't heard much about the explosion after the fact, but we had Times Square is, I don't know, it's pretty far away from Brooklyn, right?
But I have no idea.
I think it's not too super close. I think there's anyway.
I mean, the whole island is tiny.
Yeah. It's pretty close proximity, but yeah, a lot of weird underground stuff going on, and another shooting, several injured, and all happening very close proximity to the arena, Barclays Center, where the New Jersey Nets were hosting an NBA game. It was a play-in game, so it's like the early playoff thing last night. And so, and of course, the Nets being the team with Kyrie Irving, the flat earther who pushed back against the vaccine mandates and stuff. So there's a lot of interesting things wrapped up in all this politically, or in terms of control narratives. But also, there's another part of this report from Nick Friedel, who said, the whole mind control thing, the psyop of being afraid. New York, you're walking around. Brooklyn, you're walking around. You got to be scared.
I think it was really interesting listening to Goran Dragic. He, like everybody else,
Goran Dragic is another player for the New Jersey Nets, Brooklyn Nets.
Couldn't believe what he was saying, what he was hearing, and what he was seeing in the building. Because in the building, you're hearing all the helicopters go by. You're hearing the alerts off the cell phones popping up all over to stay out of the area. And as Dragic said, he's like, "Look, I've been taking the subway a lot since he got to New York City in the last couple months." He said, "I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon." So a very scary setting as the Nets prepare for what is a very big game for them, obviously, tonight.
Shooting. People got shot, but sports ball must continue. And, it's crazy. They half a block or a block away from, a few blocks away from the arena, there's a shooting, like almost a mass shooting. And then that night you get, 20,000 people into the building? That's kind of insane. Right. But there's a couple different little wrinkles here that screams control narrative, elite control, lizard people, fingerprints. And so there's a couple articles here. Here's a USA Today article. New York PD, NYPD seek public's help in search for Brooklyn shooting suspect. Survivor shot in the leg speaks out. Live update. So it's a situation where it's still breaking. There's some footage that is out there as well, where there's people sort of exiting a train, and there's some commotion. There's some smoke going on. Hard to tell exactly at what point this is in the whole thing, but let's read through a little bit here, because there's a part that's interesting. Adam May, blah blah blah. Let me just get through to the. Police officials identified James. This is one of the guys that was shot. The shooter donned a gas mask before setting off 2 smoke grenades and opening fire while still on the train, police said. The gunman fired 33 times. with a Glock 17 9mm semi-handgun, which was also found in the subway, said Chief of Detectives James Essig said. You need to fix your typos there. There you go. 33 shots.
Yeah, 33
what
shots.
What are the chances?
Uh-huh.
What are the chances?
You know what I love about this?
What's that?
Is this the one they were talking about? He had a ghost gun? Or was that a different shooting that literally happened yesterday?
No. See, that's what I'm saying. There's been a lot of shootings recently, and I think it's all part of the political narrative to rile up the gun control, because you need talking points going into the elections.
Well, 2 days ago, Biden announces rule making ghost guns illegal as part of a comprehensive gun control thing.
He's doing it again. He did it last year
too. He's sort of, this pops up about once a year. He starts making these speeches. 2 days ago, he makes his speech about gun control and ghost guns. The next day, there's a ghost gun shooting, and the day after that, there's another, shooting event. And it reminded me. Remember Biden's bridge collapsing speech, and then the next day,
while he's
bridge
visiting,
collapses
to the location he's visiting.
Just happens to have a bridge collapse like a block away from where he was going to be giving a speech the next day. The day after, he talks about our bridges are collapsing. We need to build back better.
He made the speech, blow up the bridge before he gets here.
He does. This seems to be, as far as if you consider the providence of Joe Biden's political career, where he makes a statement, makes a speech, the very next day the thing happens to make his speech more relevant than ever. This has happened at least twice when it comes to tragedies, and he's just a very lucky guy, apparently.
Yeah. Wink. Well, to wrap up this story here from the subway, praying for everybody that was actually hurt, make sure they're safe and everything. But
of course,
the game went on. The Brooklyn Nets did win. Kyrie Irving did play. Remember the whole mandate was lifted.
He's allowed to play now.
He's allowed to play at home. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the mayor said entertainers can be unvaccinated now.
Right. So it's the end. The Nets are ahead. It's towards the end of the game, and Kyrie Irving has 32 points, and he gets fouled, and he has 2 free throws. Okay, which means each free throw is worth 1 point. Right. So he makes the first one, and he's at 33 points, and I'm like, no way, come on. But then he makes the next one, and he scored 34 points. So he's a rebel. He's a rebel. He's fighting back. He was anti-vax. Now he's anti-establishment once again. Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he could not have left it at 33.
No.
That would go against his whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say he obviously missed on purpose or something.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah. So there you go. It's 33 popping up again, which is always kind of.
Of course, there have been lots of connections and analysis of the Brooklyn shooting and the other shooting. It's actually been kind of hard to track these.
There's a Sacramento thing that happened.
Right, because there's so many happening at once. It's hard just when you're browsing the news to figure out, what weird connections are connected to which shooting. But there's definitely been some sort of theories about the FBI cycle. The
6 week cycle, 6 month cycle.
What's been termed as the 6 week cycle. I don't know if that's exactly accurate on the timing, but there's some interesting breakdowns of sort of federal connections, FBI connections,
especially
to these guys.
The Whitmer case came out, right? There's all that trial going on when basically the people that were paying attention knew, like, hey, this is all FBI, almost like an entrapment situation for the 2 main suspects or whatever. And all that is coming out now, and they're like, oh, shoot. Well, while that all comes out, let's get busy, taking care of some
wonderful distraction
with guns, So anyway.
Yep. And, as far as the news is concerned, people were getting kind of bored of Zelensky asking for guns every day, stuff like that. So they had to spice it up just a bit.
Zelensky, we got our own problems over here.
Yeah. And I mean, you think about, or you talk about the series of events, the order of events of Zelensky at the start of the war was just handing out crates full of guns to whoever wanted to walk up and pick it up on the street. And then there was some gang violence with those guns that they were supposed to be defending their country with, but now everybody has guns, so things are going a little bonkers.
Yeah.
And then he's asking for more and more guns, which are, again, sort of just being handed out to civilian military participants.
The mind control, the messing with the mind is really interesting here too, because you have all these sort of liberal progressive types that are like, support Ukraine, and Zelensky's like, we need more guns.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, hooray, yeah, send them guns. And then at the same time, they're like,
don't
oh
give
no,
us
gun control.
guns.
Yeah, gun control.
Americans don't
we got to get rid of guns.
Yeah.
They're horrible. They kill people. It's like the cognitive dissonance. They're really piling it into a certain segment of the population here. So
it works. It's worked for a very long time, and it will continue to work. Keep them confused, folks.
Well,